We're diving into a pretty weighty topic today, huh?
Yeah,
Entrepreneurship as a single parent.
it's a big one.
And it's something that so many of our listeners are clearly dealing with because we actually got a specific request for this deep dive.
Yeah, definitely a lot of interest around this.
And I think part of that is tied to this feeling of guilt that can come with it, right?
Absolutely. I think it's one of the biggest things that holds single parents back from, even exploring the possibility of entrepreneurship.
It's like this idea that we should always be there, like 100%, for our kids, and that starting a business would somehow take away from that.
Yeah, it's like we're supposed to be superhuman, able to do it all, be the perfect parent, while also holding down a job, taking care of the house, and somehow finding time to breathe.
Right, exactly. And
Yeah.
and so I think it's really easy to get caught up in that guilt and just kind of shut down the idea of entrepreneurship altogether.
Definitely. And it's a shame because there's so much potential there, for single parents to really thrive as entrepreneurs.
Well, and one of the articles that you sent me actually talked about this single mom who started a meal prep business
Oh, yeah, I remember that one.
because she felt guilty about not always having home cooked meals for her kids. And she was like, you know what? I'm going to turn this guilt into a solution.
I love that, turning that guilt into something positive, and not just for herself, but for other busy parents too, right?
Right. And so it's like it almost flips the script on this idea of entrepreneurship taking away from family, right?
Yeah, totally. It shows how it can actually strengthen family life, provide that stability, and create something that benefits everyone.
And that kind of leads into this idea of redefining what entrepreneurship even means.
Yeah,
And I
exactly.
think a lot of people they picture, the workaholic CEO, who's never home, who's always on the grind.
Right, that hustle culture image.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's just not realistic for most single parents, and it doesn't have to be.
Exactly. It doesn't have to be this all or nothing thing. There's so many different ways to be an entrepreneur.
So it's more about finding something that fits your life, your values, your needs
Yeah.
as a single parent.
Exactly. And that can look so different for different people. It could be starting a small online business,
Mhm.
freelancing, even turning a hobby into something that generates income.
So it's less about conforming to some rigid definition of success
Right.
and more about, figuring out what works for you.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's about creating a business that supports your family life, not detracts from it.
And so I think it would be helpful to maybe talk about some of the actual benefits
Okay. Yeah.
because I think sometimes it's easy to focus on the challenges, but let's talk about like how can this actually benefit both the parent and the children?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is financial stability. That's huge. Being able to be in control of your income, potentially earn more than you could in a traditional job, that just takes so much pressure off.
And then also the control over your time, right?
Yes, absolutely. The flexibility is huge.
Being able to set your own schedule.
Being able to, be there for those school events or, doctor's appointments without having to beg for time off.
Exactly.
That's invaluable.
And I think also the example that you're setting for your kids
Yes, definitely.
is so powerful.
Right.
You're showing them that it's okay to pursue your dreams,
Yeah.
to take risks,
To be creative.
to be your own boss.
To
Yeah.
create something of your own, that's such a powerful message.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things that I think holds a lot of people back is just this idea of like, oh, starting a business, that's this massive undertaking.
Right. It does seem really daunting.
Like you need investors and a big team and
This big, elaborate business plan,
yeah.
all this. Yeah,
Yeah. But the resources that you shared with me actually paint a very different picture.
absolutely. Yeah. I think the landscape has changed so much, especially in recent years. There's so much support out there now for entrepreneurs, particularly for single parents.
Like what kind of like specific resources are we talking about?
Well, there are platforms now that are specifically designed for single parent entrepreneurs, offering things like, microloans, mentorship programs,
Wow.
even co-working spaces with childcare, which is amazing.
That's fantastic.
Right. And then, of course, the internet has just opened up so many opportunities to start small, test ideas, build a business gradually without needing a ton of upfront investment.
Right. So you don't have to like quit your day job and go all in right away.
Exactly. You can kind of ease into it, find what works for you, and build from there.
There was a quote in one of the articles that really resonated with me. It said, "Don't wait for the perfect time because there isn't one."
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Start where you are with what you have.
I love that. It's so true. There's never going to be this perfect moment, you know?
Right.
You just have to take that leap of faith.
And I think that ties into, this idea of self-care, which you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, self-care is crucial, especially for single-parent entrepreneurs. It's so easy to get caught up in the hustle. Try to do it all.
All right.
But if you're not taking care of yourself, you're not going to be able to show up fully for your business or your kids.
And so what are like some practical things that people can do to prioritize self-care?
Well, it doesn't have to be anything elaborate. It could be as simple as setting aside 15 minutes a day for meditation or taking a walk in nature.
Yeah.
Just something to kind of disconnect, recharge, and come back feeling refreshed.
So it's about recognizing your limits,
Yeah.
setting realistic goals,
Yes, absolutely.
not trying to be superhuman.
Right, exactly. Being kind to yourself.
Yeah. Well, as we wrap up this deep dive,
Okay.
I want to leave our listeners with this. What if you could completely let go of that guilt? What kind of business would you start? What impact would that have on your family? Don't be afraid to dream big. And remember, even small steps can lead to incredible journeys.
Couldn't have said it better